Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to Bytor Underground, simply where I discuss my thoughts, concerns, and questions about music. In this episode, I'm going to share my top 5 coolest guitar riffs in rock. Number 5, The Red by Chevelle. I remember when I first got my driver's license and when I first got my car, which was a 1987 black CRX. And one night I was driving home listening to the radio, and this song came on with this really cool guitar riff. And I was immediately drawn to it, and right away was thinking, who the hell are these guys? This is such a cool riff. So I did some research, found out it was Chevelle, and the song is called The Red. And I went out to a record store and immediately bought the album that the song was on, which is called Wonder What's Next, and that came out in 2002. But that guitar riff it always stood out to me, and I quickly learned how to play it on guitar. And that riff will just always be one of my top favorite riffs of all time, and it's just so fun to play on the guitar. Number 4, Crazy on You by Heart. I've always loved this riff. And it came out in 1976 and is off their Dreamboat Annie album. And I remember when I was around 12 years old, my dad came home from work one day and he brought home this white Fender Strat with this little practice amp. And at that time, I had no idea how to play guitar. And my dad didn't really know how to play either, but he knew the main riff, the Crazy on You, and he played all the time, and I just remember thinking, damn, that is a cool sounding riff, and he taught me how to play it, and that was probably one of the first riffs I really ever learned, actually, and I played all the time at that age. And when I finally heard the song, I just always was drawn to that riff, and I think it's just one of the coolest riffs in rock for sure. Number 3, Breakin Stuff by the Edgar Winter Band. Well, this song came out in 1972 and is off their They Only Come Out at Night album. This is a song and riff that I grew up with. I remember hearing it all the time. And every time I heard it, and even to this day, it's such a treat to listen to this song. And the main riff, dun 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 dun, I mean, that always would get stuck in my head. For weeks, I would just hear that riff over and over. And surprisingly, I never got sick of it. I think it's so badass sounding and absolutely one of the best riffs in rock that I've ever heard. Number 2, Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas. Oh, this song is such a classic. In that main riff, the da-na-na-na, I mean, that is such a good riff. And it came out in 1976 and is off their Left Overture album. And that is just another riff that I grew up listening to. And I just remember hearing it over and over, just like Frankenstein. And I just thought it was just one of the coolest things of all time. And that song is just so legendary, and how the hell you come up with something that good. And it's so iconic. Just that main riff is so iconic. And I personally think that if you're a guitar player and you take guitar seriously, you've got to have this riff amongst your catalog of riffs, and you better know how to play it. I mean, I think it's just so legendary and will always be one of my most favorite riffs in rock. Before I get to my number 1, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 1, A Passage to Bangkok by Rush. Yep, well, Rush is always going to be number 1 in any category, so that's just how it's going to be. And this whole list could easily have been just all Rush songs. I mean, Alex Lifeson just, in my humble opinion, is the best guitar riffer of all time. And I had such a hard time choosing the best Rush riff. I mean, I can't even do that, but clearly I had to go with one, and I chose A Passage to Bangkok, which came out in 1976 and is off their 2112 album. And I chose this riff simply because it's just badass and it's in one of my favorite keys to play in, the key of E minor. Always, every time I listen to this song, that opening riff just gives me goosebumps and really just makes me feel cool. It's such a cool sounding riff, and it's so fun to play. And why it's number 1 in this top 5 list of coolest guitar riffs of all time. Well, I hope you liked my list. I would love to hear what your favorite riffs of all time in rock is. So please send me a comment.
It is time for the Song of the Week.
So this week I chose a song that I recently actually just saw live a couple nights ago in El Paso, Texas. I chose Twist Me to the Left by the Dollyrots. And I actually just discovered this band by my girl Michelle. And Michelle and I are performing together in the Bytor Unplugged project currently. And so yeah, I discovered this band through her, and we went to the show together, and it was a kick-ass show, and this band is really fun to watch. I love the high tempo, just catchy punk that the band performs and writes. And they are such cool people. We got to hang out with them after the show. So, if you like high energy, catchy punk and fun sounding songs, I highly suggest checking out the Dollyrots.